Welcome to The Work of Warriors, a podcast dedicated to bringing mental wellness to the entertainment industry. I'm your host, Kim Rapach. This podcast is dedicated to the artists we've lost to mental health, addiction, and suicide, and to those who are still suffering in silence. Hey, Warriors, welcome back. Today's guest is, he's busy. That's what he is. He's a creator, writer, producer, podcast host, spokesperson, and actor. He has well over 100 IMDb credits, including Ocean's 11, Devil Row, Two Broke Girls, The Conners, and probably best known for his role as Oscar on The Walking Dead. I'm excited to have Vincent on today. We connected in 2020 on social media, and we've kept in touch off and on. And like everyone that I have on this podcast, it's not about their IMDb credits. It's not only about what they've done or how successful they are. More importantly, it's how they're living out their personal life, how they're pouring into others, how they're taking care of their mindset and their mental health, and how they have a story to share. And so I'm excited to introduce to you Vincent Ward. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, it's so nice to meet you officially.
Likewise. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here. I know that you're busy. You got a lot going on.
That's a little.
Building is back up, so yay for that. But you're also a podcast host on two podcasts, right? You have two podcasts?
Yeah, I was doing that for a minute. I was doing one by myself, and I was actually doing three.
Oh,
Me and my wife was trying to do something together, and me and Lou Temple was trying to do something. But what can I say? I can't be the only one wanting to do it.
Yeah. And we don't want to be spread too thin. It's there's so many things we can do. I feel like, wow, we have so many opportunities of things we can get involved in and just can't do them all. So you have to prioritize.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I actually put this podcast on hold for a few months, the beginning of the year, and it'll be coming back up next month. So yeah, gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Gotta do it.
So you're acting. I know you have a book, which I purchased for my niece because she loves horror and that kind of stuff. I don't know if you remember, but I messaged you and I'm like, I can't read this.
That. I remember. Thank you again.
I'll have nightmares, but I know people who love this stuff, so I'll pass it along.
Yeah, the movie actually supposed to come out this year. Finally.
Is it? Okay, The Stepdaddy.
We shot it like almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well, I only have a little tiny bit of experience with that whole process with my son and some commercials, but it's amazing how much time it takes to film something, a 30-second commercial even, and then it's months later, and then you see it and it's like, it's 30 seconds.
Oh yeah, especially if you've been there all day and they cut your part out.
Woo! Yep, we've had that too.
That's one of the worst feelings ever. Besides them telling you you're on a veil, which means they check your availability, and then that means you're actually like top 2 or top 3, and you might be on hold for a veil, and they take you off. That's oh my God. I'd rather for you to tell me I'm not on the veil than to get my hopes up high and it be snatched away. And I know like this podcast is like about a lot of mental stuff, but for this industry, you have to be mentally strong because it can get to you. I pray, I believe in God. Whoever believe in what, then that's on them. But for me, I always pray about emotional, mental, psychological, and spiritual. As far as for my life, we look at a lot of actors or people who commit suicide, and you be like, wow, that person had everything going for them. But you never know what's going on in a person's, secret life or life when they're not on film or when they're not on social media. I tell people all the time, people aren't going to put the bad stuff on social media most of the time. They're always going
Right.
to put, "Hey, I'm here," or "I'm doing this, I'm doing that." But you never
Right.
know what's going on with them outside of whatever career they're in.
Yeah, absolutely. I just had a conversation with someone just a couple hours ago about, first of all, we don't know people, right? Like we don't
Mm-mm.
know people who are on our screens, whether our phone or in the movie theaters. We don't know people. And
Yeah,
we make a lot of assumptions that because you're on a screen or, even if you are a high profile personality, that somehow you don't have any problems anymore and that you don't have sick family members or you don't get sick or I mean, we just forget. And I think we objectify a bit
yeah,
and we forget that people are human.
yeah. You're judged.
And
You're judged all the time. You can't even go get a regular job without somebody judging you about trying to survive in this world.
yeah,
With this career, with this, everything ain't peaches and cream.
yeah,
You don't see the tears. You don't see the, having to ask for a favor or, going to get on this or, uh, some of these people that you might see on TV, some of them might have, there's nothing against roommates, but they might have 3 and 4 roommates. Some of
yeah,
them might be sleeping in their car. You
yeah,
never know. You can never assume that somebody just got it going on. I'm from a
right.
little city called Dayton, Ohio. And I know I've been home a few times and people be eyeballing me like, I might have to get this guy. You get me or rob me, you're just going to be practicing. I might rob you. Just kidding.
Be careful. Don't make
Yeah,
assumptions.
yeah. But I have had that look.
Mm,
People don't realize just because you've been on a few things, that don't mean you rich. Don't mean you have a Will Smith contract or Leonardo DiCaprio contract. You still on the grind.
yeah, yeah,
And that's the one thing that, you really and truly have to love this industry for you to stick with it. Because
yeah.
you're gonna have more ups and downs. You're gonna have more no's than yeses. So
Yeah. And that's another thing I don't think people realize unless you're in the industry. You don't realize when when someone does get a yes or even a lot of yeses, even if they have a
mhm,
lot of yeses and you see them in a ton of stuff. I mean, you've been in a ton of stuff. You can amplify that times what? 25 that you've probably been told no, right? If not
yeah,
more. Maybe in
yeah.
the
Or
hundreds.
when
And it's
or when people be like, "Yeah, I saw your little part." A little part? Do you know what I had to do to get that part? Or how many people I had to beat out around, not just in LA and New York and Atlanta, but around the world now? Because everybody think they can do this. I get people inboxing me all the time. Connect me with your agent or your manager. Do you realize how long I've been doing this? And my agent and manager is not gonna pick up somebody who just started.
yeah.
So it's like, come on, come
Yeah, and
on.
I
This
think part of that is, social media, right? We've kind of lost this ability to remember that everything takes time. You have to build your craft. You have to do the work. And it doesn't matter what industry but somehow we think that like we just ask or if we just know the right person that it's magically going to happen. And it's like even, you see people like, "Oh, they're an overnight success." And it's like, "Yeah, except they've been doing it for 35 years."
right. Just like
It
with
took
me on The
35
Walking
years to
Dead.
become an overnight success.
With me on The Walking Dead, now people hit me up be like, I didn't know you was in this. And it's like, well, I just know you from The Walking Dead. I say, well, my career didn't start with The Walking Dead. My
Right.
career started way before then.
Yeah.
And even with The Walking Dead, I didn't even know what The Walking Dead was. It was just
Right.
another job to me. You just happy to be working. I never put one job ahead of another one.
Yeah.
Even if it's an independent film, I don't look down on it because you never know who that person is or who they might grow up to be or who they might know. That's why
Yeah.
I just try to treat everybody the same with respect.
Yeah. Well, that's why I reached out to you. You were doing a live, you were doing an Instagram live,
Hmm.
and I don't remember the girl's name. Maybe it was Christy or I don't remember. It was probably during the pandemic.
Hmm.
And you were talking about your mindset, you were talking about living within your values, and
Hmm.
you were talking about, integrity. And I really, those are all values that I have. And, with this podcast, I think there's plenty of podcasts that have, lots of people who've maybe been in a lot of things, or they have a great career. That's great. But I want people who are taking care of their mental health, who are taking care of their mindset in a toxic industry,
Yeah,
because there's this narrative that if you're successful, if you're on a big screen, that's going to make you happy.
yeah.
And it's killing people, literally. And so
Look at
I'm
Robin
grateful that you're
Williams.
here.
Look at
Yeah.
Robin Williams. We would have never thought in a million years that Robin Williams would take his own life. Not in a million years. Not Mr. Nanu Nanu and all those great movies and
Yeah.
projects he's done. You you just never know.
You never know.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. So I reached out to you. What made you say yes to the work of Warriors? Why is mental health important to you?
because we all go through it. We all go through it. People don't see the tears and how am I going to go eat this, or how am I going to pay for that? And I think, first of all, I'm honored that you reached out to me, because you could have, you probably have and could have reached out to a lot of other people. And, anytime somebody asks me to do something, if I have time to do it, I do it. I want people to see somebody that's real, that's going to tell you the truth. No Hollywood talk, no political talk. I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell you how TI is, without sugarcoating anything. And it's not me being arrogant, it's not me bragging or boasting. It's just me being a real person. I'm Vincent M. Ward before I'm Vincent M. Ward, the actor.
Yeah.
I'm the husband, the father, the grandfather, the friend, the son. I put all of that ahead of everything else that's going on in this industry. To this day, I still, I'm blessed to have both of my parents,
Mhm.
so I never want to embarrass them, nor embarrass myself or my family or my wife. It's all about how can you help the next person. It's just like yesterday, for example, I was at the park shooting around and playing basketball, shooting around. And instead of going home, instead of making it right, I made it left. And I saw one of my neighbors, and he was on a walker at the bus stop. And I'm like, I used to see him walking around the neighborhood, walking his dog or whatnot. But him being on the walker, I knew his health was bad. I passed him, made a U-turn, went back. And I'm like, man, what is going on? What's happening with you? Long story short, I took him to the store, took him home, and it made me feel sad, because it's like, where's his family? He's in a walker, going to get a big bag of dog food and food. I asked, where was you going to put that? Where was you going to put that? And it made me think about, again, my parents. And it's just like, these kids out here from 35 years old down have to realize that your parents is those are the only parents you're going to have. Be respectful, check on them. And that's one thing I always do. I got to check on my parents all week. I got to go home, make sure things is okay with them. Because I know I've been mad at my own sons, because I feel like you can do more to help your grandparents out. My parents have a huge yard that my dad has to cut the grass. Why you ain't going over there to help? Why, when you needed something, they were there for you. And I'm like that, and I feel like that with anybody. It's just like, get off your high horse. Stop doing stuff because, your whatever reason, or you want to get paid for it. Where's the love? Where's the respect? Where's all this stuff at? And I just
Yeah.
feel like people overlook older people these days, and that makes me mad. If I ever see anybody do something to somebody older when I'm around, I don't care if I don't know the person. I risk my life for that older woman, that
Mm.
older man. because they can't, defend themselves. When I see these people on these videos, video them hitting old people and all that. Woo wee! I was around, it'd be on. So it's just that's me. That's me before any of this. I don't care about any of this. I care about just being respectful to people.
Yeah, I love that. And it makes me think of, again, back to social media, but we're taught that, I think we're conditioned actually to like chase the quick high, chase the
Oh yeah.
dopamine hit, whether it's a scroll or I'm going to get the next job, I got the audition,
Hmm.
like all these quick, like, and they don't sustain us. But what you're talking about is true happiness, where
Hmm.
you are grounded. Your most important values are your people, your community, your family. And that is what sustains us. I
Yeah.
talk to all of my clients, no matter where they're at in their career. Tell me what you're going to do and who's going to be there if you lose it all, because that's
Right.
what matters.
Yeah.
Because you could lose everything, whether it be you get canceled, whether it be the housing market crashes, whatever. It's, money and the success and the status is not sustainable. You don't have guarantee of that. So what's going to happen if you lose it? I don't want you to lose it, but if you do, who's going to be there? Because if you're putting your mental health and your quality of life in anything outside of yourself, you are screwed if it goes sideways.
Yeah. And lately I've been doing a lot of, I mean, I always pray, but lately I've been really praying and manifesting stuff that not just what I want to do for myself, but for my family and for other people. And every day I'm looking at it, I'm smelling it, I'm living it. Yesterday I went past Warner Brothers and Universal, and I just saw myself pulling in there every day. You know, state. My favorite number is 44. So I saw stage 44 from the street. I saw gate 7 for Warner Brothers. And for me, that's me opening up a door for my future, because my future is about helping other people,
Yeah.
going to talk to people, you know, showing, it takes time. It really and truly takes time for stuff to happen, because people look at you like, oh man, you doing it, man. You successful. Well, my success might be different from what you think is success, because it's totally different. I use the phrase all the time. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be. And I
Yeah.
know my best is yet to come.
Yeah.
Even though I'm 53, even though that I've accomplished some things, I still say my best is yet to come, because my goal is to be able to show kids, to show them, it's not about the glitz and glamour on social media. A lot of people lie on social media about their lives. And again, they're not going to show you the bad stuff. They're only going to show you the good. And what you cannot do is base your life off of somebody else's life on social
Yeah.
media.
Yeah. Or what someone else might think of you.
Right.
That's dangerous.
Like Macy, she had to come try to steal my shine.
She's so cute. I was trying so hard not to interrupt you.
Jumped up on my
She's so
lap.
cute. For those who are listening and can't see, there's an adorable puppy. And you just got her like within the last 6 months, right?
No, I've had it for like three
She's the older
years.
one?
Yeah, well, the older one, Frisbee, he passed away last year. And the way Macy came along is, I looked at it. Frisbee was getting a little older.
Okay.
Frisbee actually came with the marriage, so he was
Gotcha.
getting a little older. So let me go get him a friend. And I found old Macy here at Macy's.
Did you really?
Yes,
She just looked at me like, can you believe it?
yeah. A young lady was walking around with these two cute little puppies in her purse, and I asked her if she's selling one, and she's like, "I can." And I just brought Macy home, and my wife was like, "Whose dog is that?" And I was like, "It's yours." So
Aw. Well, I
Yeah.
knew you lost your dog last year because I know we connected over that, and I'm a huge dog lover. I have three. But then I think I got confused because I saw Macy and I thought, oh, he got a new puppy. But
Well, she got a
Macy's been
haircut.
around.
She went to the salon.
Okay. She just looked younger. She's super cute. She looks like she's looking right at the camera. Like,
Yeah, she
I'm in
is.
this conversation. Dogs are very good for your mental health for those who are not believers.
And you know what? And I in the past, I'm like, why do people feel this way over animals? You know what I mean? And then once Frisbee came along and then Macy, I'm like, oh, I understand.
Yeah.
This is your family. This is your furry child. You
Yeah.
know, even when you down, they're gonna show you love
Yeah.
no matter what.
And they
So I
cause a
think
literal shift in your nervous system. Like
yeah.
if I'm stressed, I will go hug my little one or one of the big ones, and I can feel the calm come over me with no
Hmm.
words. Nobody has to understand. They just do. And they just
Yeah.
bring so much. And yeah, she's so cute. You have a good groomer too.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Vanessa. Vanessa's always there for us.
Yeah. So I was reading through your bio and, preparing for today, and I didn't say it in the introduction, but I was like, that can't be right. How many grandchildren do you have?
14.
No, really? I was like, I'm not going to say that out loud because that does not seem possible.
Yeah, 14.
That's amazing. That is a big, big family.
Yeah, they all in Ohio, thank God.
At least you're not having to travel all around to see them, right?
Yeah,
So,
they're all in Dayton and well, 5 of them just moved to Cleveland. So
okay.
yeah, it's a lot different, you know. At first I'm like, wow, what are they gonna call me? But they just call me Paw
Oh,
Vincent.
that's what I called my grandpa, Pawpaw.
Yeah, so the oldest is 14, the youngest is 4.
Okay. Those are some
Yeah,
fun ages.
yeah.
A lot of little cousins. How many kids do you have?
I have 4 plus uh stepdaughter, which we're like this. She's I'm so proud of Caitlin. Caitlin, she goes to she's away at school. Matter of fact, she'll be back here this weekend. She's getting ready for her second year. And, I never call her my stepdaughter. I call her my daughter. So 5
Mm,
kids.
I love that. My stepmom calls me her bonus daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very, when you get married or in a relationship and it's blended, that's one thing you be like, ooh, ooh. But my wife, Takoya, she don't play. So I'm like, okay, I'm all right. Cause you'll get a stepkid to cuss you out or try to fight you or something. But nah, we've never had a problem. I've been in her life since she was 9, 10 years old.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah. I was really close to my stepdad too. So
yeah.
good job. So I had posted something, and I say this a lot, but I posted something I think yesterday that said, we all have mental health and we all need to protect it because we've been given this narrative that there's those of us who have, mental health issues, and then there's those of us who don't. And it's just not true. We all have physical health and we all
Hmm.
have mental health. And just like we take steps to protect our physical health, we take steps to protect our mental health. And so you said, we all have it. You don't see, the harder parts on social media and whatnot. Um, is there, the whole purpose of this podcast is to share stories of hope where, I have my stories, where I've been in the dark and questioned my own existence. And you touched on suicide. What has been do you have a journey where, you've had struggles and now you have hope to share? Do you have anything that you want to share about your own journey?
Anytime I get down, I call it. I got to check myself.
Mm.
Um, Checking myself comes with prayer. Checking myself comes with appreciation. my parents. My whole goal is to try to leave, put them in a position where they don't have to worry about anything. Leaving a legacy for those grandkids. Uh, so that's what checking myself means, because a lot of times people look at me as being the strong one. Nothing's wrong with him. And so a lot of times I have to put on that cape, as if things aren't bothering me. If something is bothering me, I usually talk to my wife, or I talk to, my mom or Macy, and she just look at me. But yeah, I try to shake out of it. As an actor, again, you're gonna have more good days than bad days. It's gonna be some situations where if you ain't making millions and millions of dollars, you're gonna get depressed, not because of the money, but just because you feel like, when it's gonna be my turn. What am I doing wrong? But everybody has a timing. I know I can sit here and say that, but I know people are looking at me like, man, this dude, other actors is like, wow, this dude is always doing something. He's in this. But again, my goal is higher. My goal is to be able to touch people, be able to talk to people. I think sometimes I talk to more strangers than I talk to people that I know. And I just try to influence them to not give up on themselves, or their lives, or on their career. And I don't. Again, I bring up God because that's what I believe in.
Mhm.
And people can believe in whatever they want to believe in, but for me, that's what I believe in, and I tell them that's what I do. I just pray, and everything ain't gonna be peaches and cream all the time. Sometimes you might be tested to see if you can handle the success, or if you can handle that next level in your career. I think maybe 15 years ago, if God would have blessed me to where I really and truly want to be in my career, I might would have messed it up. Some people mess it up with, they can control because of sex, because of alcohol, because of drugs. They get to the point where I'm such and such, and you can't tell me anything. I always say that, Lord, when you think I'm ready, even though I'm like, I am ready to to go to that next level in my life and my career, then you bless me with that, because you know that I can handle it, that I won't come off arrogant, I won't come off conceited or look down or bougie. I won't do any of those things.
Mhm.
So shaking it off, that's what helps me.
Yeah,
That it
I
comes with a
love that.
lot with shaking it off.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And I love that you talked about, you think you're ready. There's been times where I'm like, oh, I want this so bad, or I want to do this, or I want to make this change. And then I'm like, I really thought I was ready. And then I
Yeah,
look back going, I was not ready.
yeah.
I think I'm ready now, but now it's more like a faith and a trust of like, I just trust whatever is meant for me will reach me, and
Mhm.
whatever's not will miss me. And it's my job to trust that process.
I remember a few years ago, I had a friend, and she used to do plays. And I had an opportunity to introduce her to somebody that could change her life, because it was crazy, because he was a doctor. He's like, Vince, I understand that you do all these plays and all this other stuff. He said, I don't know this Tyler Perry guy, but I see everything he does. And he said, I see that you do plays, and how can I be a part of that? So he said, who could I, invest in? And I connected the two. She never showed up for the meeting. Never showed up to the meeting. I hit him up, the doctor up. I said, well, how did it go? He's like, she never showed up. First of all, I was so embarrassed. I was pissed. I was hurt. I was mad at her. I hit her up. She never answered my call again. She's
Ever?
never talked to me again. But she lied on me, told somebody, well, Vincent was acting this. Vincent was trying to look out for you, trying to
Wow.
look out for you, and flip the whole story around like I tried to do something to her. And she was like, at that time, she was like a sister, you know? But, sometimes, again, it goes back to sometimes people ain't really ready.
Yeah.
And if I would have known that, I would have introduced him to somebody else. But,
Yeah.
it happens.
Yeah. Well, and when, there's the not ready, and also there's the times where we're not well, right? And when we're not well, we do whatever it takes to blame, to shapeshift, project. It's like we don't want to own our stuff, and so it's this person's fault. It's that's again, it's like we talk about seeking out external validation from other people. Sometimes we project
Yeah.
blame because we don't want to own our stuff,
Yeah.
and both directions are dangerous.
And the thing about it too with her is like, she was doing smaller plays at little theaters or whatnot. And I was quote unquote her celebrity in the play to make people come see the play. But I never, of course, I never looked at myself like that. I just looked at it like I enjoyed her plays. I enjoy her and I believe in her. And she just, I don't know. I don't know. I remember I saw her one time at it was a fair slash concert. And it was so odd that I'm walking straight towards her and I see her and I see her see me and she went the other way. And right there I was like, forget about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, and some things and some people you definitely don't want to chase.
yeah, so
So,
you gotta let it
sometimes
go.
yeah,
You
we
gotta let
take
it
things.
go. Some of my friends back at home, they hit me on social media. Hey, can you talk to my son, my daughter? I'm like, sure, whatever. And this is like, if you have my phone number or if you know where I live, I consider us friends because
Yeah,
everybody doesn't have that.
sure.
But then when it's time for me to go home, I'm like, hey man, I'm on my way home. Let's link up, whatever. Don't hear from them. And it mentally bothered me. I can't even lie. It mentally bothered me for a long time. It's because, and I had to get to the point where people think you're a certain kind of way when it's really them that's going through whatever they're going through in their life. It was hurtful. It's hurtful for people to know, or you grew up with, you asking for support to get this, to get that, or to do this or do that, and they don't do it, but they go out and spend $200-300 on some people that they don't know. But you call me and ask me to do something for you. I don't do anything for anybody to get something in return. But if we're friends, what's the problem?
Yeah. Well, and can you speak a little bit to that? Because I think, especially for newer artists, I won't say younger, but newer artists who, with this mentality of like, I've just got to do whatever it takes to make it. But
Mm-mm.
once you start being, you have having some success, you get some momentum. Can you speak a bit to the parts about like you start to lose your knowing of who you can trust? You do
Yeah,
start to
everybody's not
look
going
back
to be
and say,
happy. Everybody's not going to be happy for your success.
right.
They're not. Trust and believe. They might be your friends on social media, but they're not going to delete you because they want to see everything that you're doing.
They want to watch.
So you just got to, you'll learn sooner or later who you can trust or who's really your friend or family. Family too. Family too. You really and truly learn. And it's going to be hurtful, but you just got to keep it moving.
How do you
Exactly.
judge, or how do you know, what is a mental process you go through to know who you can trust, who is your community, and who's not?
When you
How do
keep
you know?
reaching out, when you keep reaching out to people, checking on them, and they never check on you,
Mm,
it's like, how am I just your friend, or are we friends? It
mhm.
can't be one way. Me just doing this, and you never show the love back. And when I say this, I'm talking about people that I grew up with. That I've gone home and seen or got ignored from. So you just gotta. It's hurtful, but you gotta cut them off.
Yeah,
But are you really cutting them off, or did they cut you off?
yeah. Or are you protecting yourself?
Yeah.
So I would imagine having that end of the pendulum, in your personal life, and then also within the industry itself, of like who's trustworthy, who's not, who's just, you know, wants to make money off me or whatever it might be. You know, again, back to that mindset. How do you stay grounded in, like, you seem pretty solid in your mindset, right? Like, how do you
hmm
practice that?
The industry is something totally different. You can expect that, but you don't want
You're not
to.
going to question it. You're just going to expect it.
Right. You just expect that, and it depends on who you surround yourself around too. If you surrounding yourself around some snakes, eventually you get bit, and then you leave them alone. But it's totally different when it's somebody that you consider a friend, because
Yeah.
everybody in the industry ain't your friend. It's just your coworker. People think just because I work with some people on some shows that we're friends. I'm like, are you friends with everybody that you work with at
Right.
work? No, you just
Yeah.
work with them and you keep it moving.
Yeah. I love the
You-
reality. It's such a reality check.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just, hey, you ready? Yeah, okay. Especially with the fans of The Walking Dead, they think that I'm friends with Rick and Daryl and Michonne. I'm like, no, I did become friends with a couple people on there. Lou and the guys who were the prisoners with me. But that was it.
What do you wish people understood about the industry? Like the naive person who thinks, oh my gosh, it's so amazing. I want to be famous. Like, what do you wish people understood that we could just call out right here, right now?
Well, the thing about it is, what to me the word celebrity and the word famous has been tainted. Especially with these reality shows. Anybody can get on a reality show and act a fool, cuss and fuss and fight. That's a celebrity now. That's who y'all say is famous. What exactly do they do?
Mm,
They're not memorizing any lines. They just being themselves. It's just I blame us. I blame society because you put these people on these pedestals, and I look at a lot of them, 80, 90% of them. I'm like, they don't have a talent, and you're embarrassing.
they're not
You
making art.
yeah, you're embarrassing me. I don't care what nationality you are and culture or whatnot. I'm sure everybody, you got the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or whatever. You got your black reality shows, you got your white, you got your Hispanic, and I'm sure we all have said, this is embarrassing. You making us look bad. And that's exactly how I feel. Or I lose out to a part. I lose out to one of them because you think they have a huge following. Yeah, they may have 2-3 million people following them, but that doesn't mean that's going to transfer over to them on whatever show.
Right.
Are they going to be able to memorize some lines? Are they going to be able to act? We'll see. And I think that's the only time I really have a problem with it. And that's, of course, it ain't me hating on them. If somebody want to give you a job because of whatever, then so be it. But don't come to me later on, be like, hey man, I'm gonna need you to come in because it didn't work out with such and such. Well, you knew it wasn't gonna work out with such and such because he wasn't an actor. He's just a reality show person or whatever.
Hmm.
So the whole celebrity and famous, that word to me is out of the window. It's
Yeah.
watered down. Because
Yeah.
anybody, you could be famous and a celebrity for dancing, for twerking, for having a big butt. These people are famous for that now.
Yeah. Watered down. That's a good word. That's a good way of
Hmm.
looking at it.
It
So, I mean,
is.
you have a lot of like you're willing to share a lot of the realities, right? Just the truth. Um, and also you seem like you have a positive mindset. Would you agree?
100%. 100%. I always keep it in my mind, you never know who's watching you. And I now know, and now, like the grandkids are getting older. They're getting on social media. They tell me, hey, you said this, 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 this. Or even like if certain parts, it's a lot of things that I won't do. I wouldn't do it before the grandkids, but I definitely won't do it now. But
Mm,
whatever floats your boat, just don't choke, But for me, I'm not straddling the fence. I'm not doing anything strange for a little piece of change. It's all about those little eyes looking at me,
mm.
or the little eyes that I don't even know that's looking at me.
Wow.
I don't want anybody to be confused about what I'm doing. It's enough of that type of stuff on commercials now. Everywhere you turn around, it's just sex and this and that. And I see why these kids can be so confused about, what they believe or how they feel nowadays because you see it so often.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't need to see me do it.
They're getting so many messages of this is how you should feel, this is how you should dress, this is how you should act.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, me growing up, you didn't see breasts or anything like that. It might be in the J.C. Penney catalog or Sears catalog in the underwear and bra section. Now they can
right.
just push a button or turn on their phone and they see everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Hmm.
you were talking about, there's stuff I didn't do before the grandkids and that to me that just says boundaries and that's one thing that I try to help people establish is knowing themselves, establishing their boundaries and I always say if you do not know what you are willing to do, what you are not willing to do, if you don't know where your values lie, what your integrity looks like, someone else will decide that for you.
I will say lately too, in the last maybe couple years, as far as like casting, they will ask you, do you have a problem doing this, 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 this? So they do ask you. Now, if you say you don't have a problem with it and you get there and then you have a problem with it, then they're gonna
Yeah,
have a problem with you.
for sure.
So I think the industry is opening up more about situations like that. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
they do ask.
Yeah, that's good. That's a positive shift.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you had friends in the industry or not, but have you had friends who've struggled with their mental health? Have you, we
Um,
talked about like Robin Williams and we both know a lot of people who've struggled like that. Do you have personal experience with that?
I've had some friends that just trying to make it, trying to make it through the day, and it's always dealing with bills, always. And to me, that's the thing that mentally mess people up the most. How am I gonna pay for this?
Hmm.
This rent, this mortgage, this car note, and it could. I think that affects people more in this industry than not booking parts.
Yeah.
It's the real part of the world of life. It's lifing. How am I gonna survive? How am I gonna keep these lights on?
Yeah.
So when people be like, "Man, you made it," Yeah, I made it. I'm not homeless. I'm not, you know, thinking about taking my life because I can't pay a bill.
Yeah.
And there's people out there that's doing that. And I always try to encourage people. My thing is about encouraging, teaching, preaching, inspiring. If I'm no different from you, if I can do it, you can do it. You know, when we was having a strike, or when we was going through the strike, I found out about the SAG Foundation that was helping people with their bills, and this and that. But if somebody doesn't tell you, then you don't know. So it was up to me. I told as many people that I knew as possible. Hey, they give you this for this, and people was like, "What?" That's what the SAG Foundation is for. That's what the Motion Picture Foundation is for. It's like if you're going through some things or you need some help. That's why a lot of the big time celebrities donate, because
Mhm.
they're like giving back to the people who aren't on the same level they're on. So, but like again, if somebody don't, if you don't know, somebody has to tell you. So at least that was something that I can do to help.
Yeah. Have you ever done like coaching, like acting coaching or industry coaching or anything like
No,
you
no,
just you seem like such a liaison, right?
I,
Like
I,
you
I try to do like guest speaking before, but I don't stick to the script. I just speak from the heart.
yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what makes a great liaison and a great advocate, right? Is because you're not your number one concern is not they may be providing, right, for your family, but it's not the dollar, it's not the title, it's not the award, but it's the people, and that's what people need. That's what we all need. We all need an
Yeah, I actually
advocate.
tried to find an agent, or I forget which guest, it was some guest speaking school or guest speaking, it pop up online or whatnot.
Yeah,
And I was like, "You want me to pay what?" I was like, "No, I'm not doing that." I said, "Y'all can you if y'all really truly want people, just sign me up." You can use The Walking Dead or whatever else, and I'm sure people would come. And I do a lot of theater, the podcast, so I'm quick on my feet. I said, I don't need you guys to teach me anything,
yeah,
So they were trying to figure it out. They really and truly were. So
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, if I get help, if somebody help me, get out there and book and whatnot, I would definitely do it, because I know I could do it, and I know I'm gonna tell the truth.
yeah, yeah. You have to tell the truth in an industry that doesn't always want to hear it.
Right?
But you have truth to tell. So who knows? Maybe it's you start your own thing, right? Maybe you don't need somebody to book it for you. Maybe you just keep doing what you're doing
I,
and it
I did
turns
something at a
into
school
something.
one time. This young lady, she's a professional wrestler now. She's like, she was at high school, and she actually come to her school to talk. I went, and I remember as soon as I started, it was packed in there. These kids was in the front row talking. I'm up on the stage, they're in the front row talking. And I just stopped, and I was just looking at her. I said, "Are you finished?" I said, "Because, I was asked to come here. I don't have to be here." I said, "I'm here for you guys. So if if we're going to be respectful, let's be respectful. But you're not going to sit there and have no conversation while I'm standing up here." And everybody's like, "Ooh." But it was real. It's all about, come on, respect the people that's coming to, hopefully you can learn something from.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're so inundated with input, right? Like there's so much coming at us through the scrolling and all the information and YouTube videos, and it's like yeah, just stop and look
Yeah,
at
you
what's
can't say
around
nothing to
you
anybody.
and
Like,
listen.
what?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, what are some things I know you talked about like shake it off and check yourself. Are there other like specific actions that you do, whether, working out or drinking your water, meditating, anything like that? You mentioned prayer. Are there any other things that you do that help you maintain a positive mindset, help you maintain your mental health?
I just try to keep my mind busy. I don't care if it's out me cutting grass or I did something for the first time this year. I started a garden. You got to keep your mind busy because it's a saying that an idle mind is the devil's playground. So when
Ooh.
you're sitting around, only way Satan could get to you is through your thoughts and through your mind. So
Mm.
if you sitting there and you just doing a woe is me, or you feeling real down, that's when all the negative thoughts and stuff come into your mind. So definitely, going to the gym, going for a walk, and I don't want to sound funny when I say this, but sometimes you got to see people in a worse situation that you were in. Living in LA, it's a lot of homeless people. You drive past there and then you think about my problems ain't that bad. When you can be sitting out in a tent or in an RV or laying on the ground, that comes with part of shaking it off because it's like, man, thank you God that's not me or one of my family members. So sometimes seeing somebody doing worse than you, even though you don't want to see them in that situation, but you don't want to see yourself in that situation neither.
Well, and can we talk a little bit about, and I don't know if you've thought about this, but I would like to talk about it for a second, the difference between keeping your mind busy in healthy ways so that it's not idle and the negative, inner critic doesn't get to show up, but also the difference between that and distraction. Because I think sometimes people stay busy, but not in healthy ways. Right. And
Mm.
so you're talking about gardening, being out in nature, going for a walk, going to the gym. Sometimes we can stay distracted with pornography or shopping or, comparison to someone else's seemingly amazing life. Like, I just want to note, like, there's a difference between keeping your mind busy with the purpose of staying healthy as opposed to, I just got to stay busy so I don't have to feel this thing that I feel.
People have their own vices too. I wouldn't suggest the pornography, but it's just like my wife, right? She loves she has a stressful job. She's a kindergarten teacher. She's an educator, and sometimes it's not the kids that gets on her nerves; it's the parents or it's the people that she work with. But one thing she finds, besides me, one thing that she finds relaxing is she loves scratch offs. She loves scratch offs. She has her own little area where she does the scratch offs in her box where she keeps them in. And she loves horror movies. That's kind of how we met. So you just have to find you have to find something that's not a distraction, I
Yeah.
guess. You
Yeah.
have to find something that you love or want to learn something. But if you sit there and you just soak all day, then you're going to be it's going to be even worse.
Yeah.
So or maybe finding something is the distraction from whatever you're going through. A lot of people use drugs and alcohol to take away the pain,
Mhm.
or that's the distraction. But once you realize, once that high or that drunkenness is gone, that problem is still there.
Yeah.
Once the watching porn, you finish doing whatever you're doing, that problem is still there. Sometimes you gotta, you know, hit that problem straight on and be like, I'm not gonna allow you to beat me.
When you think about the things that you do, is like, is it healthy? Is it not healthy? Make sure that you are moving towards something that will lead you toward your better self, right? And
Mhm.
make sure that you're not running from things you need to be facing head on.
Yeah, it's
Right.
all
And you
about
might
growth.
you might need to say like, you know what, I really need to just play this video game. I'm going to set a timer for 45 minutes. I just need to calm down and this will help reset my brain. There's not a problem with that. But
Yeah,
when
it's all
it's like
about growth.
you're playing 5, 8 hours at a time because you don't want to deal with your life, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes
so
you got to
knowing
get
the
tired of
difference.
being tired. You be like, I'm tired of being tired. I have to figure this out. And you do. And sometimes it's supposed to be the older you get, the wiser you become. But sometimes it's not like that. I know it's like
Sometimes you
that.
have a
I
lot of
know it's,
lessons to get there.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I remember in my 20s and 30s, or even mid 30s, I thought I was going to die because a woman was going to kill me.
Mm.
And it's because I was playing the field so much, so it has, you hear the saying, once a player, always a player. That's not true. I'm very faithful to my wife, but it has to get to a point where you have to shake that type of stuff off, because sometimes you know how people can think, you can see how your life, see what you want in your life, or the positive stuff that you want in your life. You keep thinking about it and thinking about it. The negative stuff can happen too, because you keep thinking about it and thinking you can manifest negativity. So I had to like really and truly stop that.
Yeah.
I remember when I turned 30 years old, I remember I cried. I boo-hooed because I felt like I wasn't doing anything with my life. When I turned 40, I was happy. When I turned 50, I was happy. But it just goes to what are you doing to not go through that same stuff that you was going through before.
Yeah. Learn from the lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah. You and I are the same age. I have the same experience. I was grieving 30 when I was 28. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm almost 30. Oh
Yeah.
no. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so much better.
Hmm.
53, almost 53. Yeah. Just gets better
Yep.
if you fight for yourself. And that's the whole point of, the work of warriors. In our definition, it's a warrior is someone who fights for themselves first so that they can take care of everybody else. Because the
Indeed.
other downfall is you give too much to everybody else and then you lose yourself. And so whether it's your career or your family, and so yeah,
It's
that's
okay to be selfish sometimes.
yeah.
You don't have this. You don't have to be like, "Hey, I'm gonna do this. Oh, I'm just gonna jump and do this." No, no. It's about your peace. It's
Yeah.
about you got to have peace in your life and for the people that surround you. You just can't go and save everybody every time.
Yeah, and you can't give what you don't have.
Yeah,
So
especially
if
you
you're
got you got
giving,
people that won't even hit you up and be like, "Hey, man, I saw you guys have a tornado, or a hurricane. I'm just checking to see if you're okay." You don't even sometimes you don't even people won't even do that.
I
That
think
they
that's how
always
you and
want you
I
to.
connected. You and I connected during the pandemic. I think we were checking on each other and we each had
Mhm.
friends that were struggling and we were like, "Hey, how's your friend? How's your friend? How are you doing?" And yeah, it's just not that hard.
No, it's not.
But you can't do that when you're not taking care of yourself,
That's
right?
right.
So to our point, when we're well, we can help other people be well. And we can't give from an empty slate.
Indeed.
So I have a question. If someone were listening to this and maybe they're struggling, the whole point of this is to bring hope and to bring stories, to share for people who maybe they're just in it, they're in the thick of it, they're in the dark. And while this isn't a replacement for, therapy or mental health, but what would you say to somebody who maybe is listening and they're struggling?
You gotta love you. You know, you have to think about: do you want to disappoint your kids? Because they're gonna miss you. They're gonna miss you You go to jail. They're gonna miss you. You have to go leave this earth. They're gonna miss you if you're locked up in somewhere. Do you want to really and truly let them down? Do you want to have to write them or make those collect calls? No, you don't. So, if you need to talk to somebody, find somebody to talk to. You have to find somebody. You have to love yourself in order to love other people.
Mm. I love that so much because that is a core value of mine. That's what saved my life. But also because you're so giving, you're a really good example of how everyone else is important to you and you want to give back and you want to help others and you want to take care of your family. But I'm just so glad that that is where you start. Like you have to love yourself first because that is the only way. And that's how we get to take care of our family and leave a legacy. So thank you.
Indeed. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being a warrior. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for
I'm
having me.
really grateful
I
that you
stuck to
said
my
yes.
word.
I knew you would. I knew you. Oh, I think I had to cancel on you. We
Yeah,
were scheduled, and I don't remember why, if I was sick or something with my
yeah.
personal life, but I had to reschedule. So thank you for being gracious and understanding and circling back and making this happen. And I look forward to keeping in touch. And yeah.
Indeed. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate
All
you.
right. Thank
All right.
you.
Take
Be
care.
well. Okay.
Bye. You
Bye.
too.